Hey guys, my name is Jennifer and I am Jenofeve Designs. Today we are going to begin the new album, the Glassine bag mini album, printable mini album template that I put out recently. And the first thing we're going to make is the Santa Baby album. Now this is the album that we made at Madecon in September in Tennessee. So I'm going to make this one first because it is a Christmas album and people do have these kits. And I'm going to be using a kit, but I'm also going to be telling you what you need to use if you don't have a kit. And I'm also going to be doing an alternative cover. So this is a corrugated cardboard cover. So I'm also going to do a regular chipboard cover. So if you didn't want to do the corrugated cardboard, but you still want to make this album, I'll show you a different cover just in case. So as usual, the links to the new printable are down in the description box below. There's a link to an Amazon list that has all the supplies that I use in these videos. There'll also be a playlist down below just for this mini album. And keep in mind that I told you guys months and months and months ago, I think it was June or July, I think July maybe, that I was going to be using this paper. So if you did not get your hands on this Santa Baby paper, this is Prima Santa Baby. If you did not get your hands on this, feel free to use whatever paper you want. You don't even have to make a Christmas album, but just use whatever you want. It's very versatile. This template is very versatile. You don't have to worry. You don't have to, like you can make this exact album, just use a different paper collection. Does that make sense? Because I know that it's not really available now. It's sold out. So again, just use whatever paper collection that you've got on hand if you did not get your hands on the Santa Baby paper collection. So this is the actual kit that I provided at Madecon, and just a special note here, I cannot do kits on a regular basis. This is not something that I can do for you guys. I get asked all the time, at least a couple of times a week, if I could provide a pre-made kit that you just put together. I don't have the means for that. I don't have the resources to, I can't get the collections and things at wholesale or anything. I have to pay for them outright. So I had help doing these classes. So I just wanted you guys to know that this is not something that I can do on a regular basis. I wish I could, but I just don't have the resources to do that. But anyway, so everything that's in this kit, I will be making this exact album that we made at Madecon. However, I'll be telling you the different pages and the different templates and all of that stuff, so you can make it right along with me if you don't have a kit. And I'll be giving you some alternatives as well. So today we're going to start on the covers. This is the super simple, easy mini album. So we're going to start on the covers. I'm going to show you how I made this type of cover, and then I'm going to also show you, at the same time, I'm going to show you the same look, but with just chipboard. Okay, so if you happen to have the kit, in your kit, you already have a pre-cut, pre-scored album cover. And this is corrugated cardboard. So if you don't have a kit, I'm going to show you how you can make that same thing with whatever recycled corrugated cardboard that you have, and also with chipboard. So what you're going to need is the templates that are on page 1, the mini album covers template, the spine template, and the outside spine wrap. We're going to use this with the chipboard version. This is my workbook for the Glassine bag mini album. I did not make this on camera, but I did make it's just like the one I made for the Everlasting. I think that was the last one I actually filmed. So I did make this workbook the exact same way I made the Everlasting. I will link that down below if you want to see how I made this workbook. I did do one thing differently. I did use laminating pouches, but in between the cardstock, the printed cardstock page, I put a piece of I put a piece of transparency in between, so that way it's a clear pocket, so I can see what's in the pocket. So that was the only thing I think I did differently with this workbook. Obviously you'll notice the templates themselves I did differently by putting the information on the guide. The guidebook is the set of templates so that you didn't have to transfer all that information on there. And you guys seem to really be excited about that. I got a lot of feedback from you guys, and you guys are really happy that I did that. But again, I want to make note that I may not be able to do that with every template in the future. I can't go back and do the other guidebooks that way. I will try to, in the future ones, I will try to continue to do this, but sometimes it may not be workable or doable. But I just wanted to throw that out there. You guys really seem to love it. You said it's making your workbook process so much easier and faster, and I can totally appreciate that. The workbooks sometimes are a project all on their own, but this step did save you guys some time, so I'm really glad that you guys liked it. So anyway, so you're going to need the covers, which is page 1. And they're all meant to be like a traceable template. So again, if you have a kit, basically all this is the cover, the spine, and the cover. So it's one continuous piece. So when I marked it, I just scored it with my craft knife. So basically I took my ruler, and I took a craft knife, and I lined up where I marked it, and I just sliced through one layer, right? Because with corrugated cardboard, it's got a layer, and then there's the inside stuff, and then another layer. So you just want to cut through one layer. Do you see that? So it's stronger than you think it is, but we're going to reinforce it a little bit with some washi. But we're going to do that in a minute. My husband actually cut all these out for the kits. So basically you're just going to need to try to find you a piece of corrugated cardboard. Get your, all of your Amazon boxes and all of that stuff out, and find you a piece long enough to where you could have 2 covers and a spine. Okay, but if you didn't want to do the corrugated cardboard, you get yourself a piece of chipboard, whether it's recycled from the back of a art pad or from when you purchased like a collection, like a paper collection. Let me move the album out of the way. But this is medium weight or heavyweight chipboard. I'm not sure, but I'll have it linked in my list, my Amazon list for you guys if you want to check it out. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to trace this template. So on top of page number 1, that's page number 1, and it says on here traceable template. And then this is the mat for the cover. So this is page number 2. So I just placed this on top so I have it convenient there for me. You guys don't have to do it that way if you don't want to. And then I'm just going to go ahead and, whoops, I broke on my lid. I'm just going to trace this out with my pencil. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the spine piece. Again, same thing. The mat is on top of the traceable template. I'm going to lay that down right next to it. And I'm going to trace that out, because we just need one spine piece. And then I'm going to move this down. We need 2, I need my glasses on. We need 2 chipboard covers. When I was making my workbook, when I was de-sticking the ATG tape, I had cuticle oil on my fingers, and I think I may have de-stuck things too much, if you know what I mean. Whoops. See, because this mat keeps wanting to come off. But that's okay. And then the other thing I need to trace is this piece here, which is the outside spine piece. So I'm going to use, this is a piece of craft cardstock, and it is the Recollections 65-pound craft cardstock. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this on here. This piece has already been scored. All these different lines have been scored. So I'm just going to lay it on here, and I'm going to trace out the outside. And then I'm going to trace this, fold it back and trace this line. And then I'm going to fold, oh, try not to move it. And I'm going to fold this piece back and trace this line. Like that. And then I'm going to fold this down, trace that, fold this up, trace that. So we're just going to go ahead and get both of these covers prepped so that we can do the same steps for each thing. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and trim this out with my paper trimmer. This is a Fiskars Precision paper trimmer. So there's that piece. You can cut chipboard with that paper trimmer, but I find it easier to do it this way. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this top part first. Get my ruler. This is a score palette craft mat. And I'm going to line up my ruler with my line that I made. My pencil line. And I'm going to cut through. I'm not pressing too hard. I'm just pressing just enough to slice through this chipboard. And if you do it like this and you go a few swipes, it makes a cleaner cut and it's not as hard on your hand either. So then I'm going to go ahead and cut this piece off. We're not using this piece at all. I've got cuticle oil on again right now and it gets everywhere. I mean, I can't live without it, but it does kind of make a mess. I'm so excited to finally be starting on this album. This is such a fun album. It's so easy to do. I know I keep saying that, but you guys are going to see what I'm talking about here in just a minute, or in just a video or two, how easy this album comes together and how quickly it comes together. Okay, so now we've got our two covers and our spine piece. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take this spine piece and I'm going to put some score tape on it, or this happens to be scrapbook.com tape. So I'm going to add this to the spine. Oh, you know what else I need to do? I'll show you. Just a second. We need to cut one more piece of this. So I'm going to take this piece again, and I'm going to line it up here onto that craft cardstock, and I'm just going to trace the width of it out there. Get my paper trimmer back out. I forgot about this. I'm going to cut this down like that. And then I'm going to take the mat from my cover, and that's where I'm going to get the height that I need. This will go on the inside of the covers. So I'm just going to mark that and trim that up. Completely forgot about that piece. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the backing off of this tape, and then I'm going to attach it down to this outside spine wrap piece, just like this. So the lines are there just to help you, to guide you more than anything. So then I'm going to take my two cover pieces, and on these short end sides here, we're going to put a piece of score tape on both of them. Like that. And then on this piece here, we're going to put a piece of score tape in between this line and this line on either side of the spine piece. Look at these. Okay. So I'm going to take one of the backings off. Let me get my little garbage thingy there. Off of one of the covers and off of one side of that spine wrap thingy. And then I'm going to lay this on here, and I'm going to come about a very generous 1/8 of an inch away from the spine piece itself. So I'm going to leave a gap on one side, and then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Flip it around, do the same thing. Very generous 1/8 of an inch. Lay it down, flip it around, and I'm going to burnish that on there. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of do a little bit. Oop, woo, I almost ripped into that sucker. I had the wrong one. I'm just going to kind of score on either side of these pieces of chipboard. And then I'm going to score down the edges. So this is obviously a landscape style album. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and prep that by flipping that over, like that. So now I'm going to add some score tape to the edges so this can wrap. Another thing that those markings do for you is they give you a bit of a guideline of where your tape needs to start and stop, so that you don't get adhesive down in these grooves here. So you want to put them along this edge and along this edge here. And you want to do the same thing to this bottom. Okay, so now I'm going to remove the backing of the tape here. And I'm just going to fold it over on itself like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the top. And fold this over just like that. And then I'm going to burnish this top and bottom edge just real quick. Give it a little test prep there. Okay, so then this piece, this extra piece that we cut, is going to go here to cover up the inside of the spine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tape again. I'm going to go top and bottom, or I'm going all the way around the perimeter of this piece here. And then on this piece, I'm going to go along the edge right there next to that gap on the spine as well. And I'm also going to fill in just a little bit here. Well, not just a little bit. I'm going to put maybe 3 more pieces on the spine piece itself. And I'll burnish that down really good. Alright, so now I'm going to take the backing off of all this tape and I'm going to apply that piece. Oh, I did want to make mention that this template, I did design the pages to stick out a bit from this template. I'm not sure how well you can see. So if you don't like that, if you don't like it sticking out, then you may want to make your covers just a little bit longer than what I have in the template. But I wanted that look for this template, so that is something that's completely up to you. If you don't like that, then you just make make your covers just a little bit longer. Alright, I'm going to burnish that down really good. Oh, and then, let's see if I can find my gaps here. I'm just going to take my bone folder and just kind of dent it just ever so slightly. And then gently, we're going to fold it. So now we have a set of chipboard covers. And then we also have the set of corrugated cardboard covers. So they're exactly the same, except one's corrugated cardboard and one is chipboard. I'm trying to look up into my camera monitor and fiddle with the covers at the same time. So they're exactly the same. So you can do yours whichever way you want to. Okay, so mostly for the corrugated cardboard one, let's see, do I want to do it now or do I want to wait? I want to do it now. I want to kind of reinforce this inside piece right here a little bit. So in the kit, there's all the, I'm going to go ahead and take some of this stuff out. In the kit, I provided some of the washi tape. So, I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. I think it's in here. It is. So, I put the washi tape on this acetate, this really thick acetate. I will have that linked in my Amazon list below, but I thought it would be cute. You don't have to do this, but I thought it would be cute just to take some of these hole reinforcements. These are colored hole reinforcements, and make like a little tag. I don't know, I just thought it was super cute. Whoa, gotta press it down, Jen. Right, so you just put your hole reinforcement in the center there, and then you pop that center out with a little bit of elbow grease. And voila, here, let's put one on the back. You have a cute little tag that you can put in your traveler's notebook, or you can put it in your mini album when you're working in it. Whatever floats your boat. But anyway, so I'm going to use this washi tape here. I'm going to use that to reinforce this area here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this pink and white stripe off of here. I'm going to try to anyway. And I'm going to be attaching it down, but first I want to apply just a little bit of, this is art glitter glue, but use whatever white glue that you have, would probably be the best. And I'm just going to be real generous with it here, and I'm going to go right on that seam there. I'm going to smooth it out a little bit. And then I'm going to add the washi tape, like that. Right, just like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this side. And I know some of you were thinking, that's not going to hold up, that's not going to work. Well, this other album, the one that actually traveled with me to Tennessee in my, it wasn't in my suitcase, so it was in like a box of supplies. So it traveled and made it through the class and all of that just fine. Okay, let me trim that off a little bit neater. Right. Let me show you what I mean. So you can see it right there. It's right there. So it's helping keeping that from tearing apart, and it's, since I glued it, and I'm also going to glue it one more time, I'm going to put some glue over top of this. Right, and I'm just going to kind of do kind of a circular motion So I really want to make sure that it stays put. I need to get a new bottle. I have a new bottle. I just need to get it out. Or fill this one up. Either one. I need to do one or the other. Right, so then it looks just like that. So let's do the same thing to this one. I'm not going to use my already pre-made card for that, because if you have the kit, you didn't get that much of it. So let me go ahead and put a line of glue here. I made up a ton of those kits, and it's hard to know, especially like with washi tape, it's hard to know how much to actually include. But it's pink and white washi tape, pink and white striped. And I did find some pink and white striped washi tape in other places. So I think that if you didn't get, this is from the Santa Baby collection, but if you didn't get the Santa Baby washi tape, you can find pink and white washi tape just about anywhere, really. I don't know, I think there's just something sweet about the striped pink and white washi tape. What do you think? Alright, so I'm going to trim these edges off. I could have probably done a little bit better job. Alright, and once again, I'm going to put some glue over top and do the circular motion here. I want to make sure I get it. Okay. So I'm not going to be completing both of these albums with this during this video series, because the only reason I'm doing it, I'm showing you the different covers, is because you may not want to use the corrugated cardboard, which is fine, but everything else will be the exact same. So I'm only going to make the covers with you guys with the two different ones, just so you can see that it doesn't have to be the corrugated cardboard. I know some of you don't like that look, so okay. So we're going to let this one dry while we work with this one. So with this one, we're going to come on the outside. So this is the inside of the cover, and this is the outside. So we're going to come and we're going to tear into this corrugated part. So we're going to like take a layer off. And you don't have to take the whole thing off. You can just take some of it off, for it to be like a patchy kind of thing. Get in that one a little bit. Right, and so you just kind of want to do this. And this will just give you more of that shabby look, so that when we go to paint this, it has more interest, I guess, to it. So I'm even going to do that to the spine piece. Just going to get up under there. Use my fingernail, tear in there like that. So now we're going to need some more supplies. Let me grab them and then I'll be back. Okay, so I've got me like a craft mat underneath here, and I went and got my white acrylic gesso. This is the one that I have, and I've got a lid to a Pringles can, and I've also got a little foam brush. You could use a regular brush, you don't have to use a foam one. I just like them because they're disposable, and that's what was included in the kit. Okay, so I'm just going to put some gesso out onto my little recycled Pringles can lid, and I'm going to pull my sleeves out of the way so I don't get paint on them. If you don't have gesso, you could use some acrylic paint, some white acrylic paint. Maybe water it down just a little bit. But all we're going to do is we're going to go and add gesso to the edges of this shabby cover. And we're going to do that to the entire cover. And we're also going to do it to the inside. Even though we didn't do anything to the edges of the inside, we're going to go ahead and do this technique on the inside. Because they're going to get matted, so you don't have to do the entire surface, just the edges. Let's go like this. And the foam brush just makes it quick and easy. But again, you could use a paintbrush. So this was provided in the class kit for everybody that took my class at Made-A-Con. Oh, by the way, that reminds me, I wanted to mention as well, don't forget that if you took my class at Made-A-Con, you get 80% off of the templates. And that's only for the people who took my class at Made-A-Con. So you just need to contact me through Etsy, through your Etsy purchase receipt. If you already purchased the Glassine bag templates, you just need to go ahead and contact me, and I will refund your percentage for the class. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing on this side. And now remember, again, this is going to be matted, so I don't want you to freak out about it looking kind of weird. I'm going to kind of like get that off of my washi just a little. I want my washi still to be seen. I don't want to cover it up entirely. And I am kind of rushing for video's sake, so if you want to be a little bit neater about it, I'm going to lightly brush it over the washi, but then I'm going to grab a baby wipe. Oh, this is a not very wet baby wipe. This is kind of a dry baby wipe, so I'm just going to add some water to it. And I'm just going to kind of do this motion here on the spine, because I want it to have a little bit of that white look to it, but I don't want it to be covered up. Okay, so now I'm going to set this one aside, and I'm going to do the exact same thing to this one. Okay, so now they're both gessoed up and ready to go. So that is all I'm going to show you with the one with the chipboard, because everything from here on out is the exact same. I just wanted you to know that you could make the same cover just with chipboard and not corrugated cardboard if that's what you wanted. So I am going to set this one aside, and we're not going to finish the cover today, but we are going to finish. We're going to put the binding in, and we're going to put the pages in this video. So with the kit, oops, some of my gesso's still wet, you guys. With the kit, everyone got, this was the binding strip, and I printed it onto craft cardstock, and everybody got a set. But with the templates, it now looks like this. And this is the one that has the coffee stained on it, because I want it to match my Glassine bag, because my Glassine bag is going to be my pages, okay? So I'm going to use this one versus this one. It's the same thing. These were just preliminary templates that I put together for this class, and then before I released the new set of templates, I had to go back and refine and add a bunch of stuff to it and all of that jazz. So that's why they might look a little different. The copyright's a little bit different, all of that stuff. So anyway, so I'm going to use a set of these binding strips. So I'm just going to get one set out. Let me see if I've already got one cut up. Because there's 4 sets on here, and I just need the one, and this is on page 3, and I don't have any in here. I don't know why I thought I did. As a matter of fact, I'm going to stick this one in there, so I might use it with the other album. But I'm just going to go ahead and cut out 1 set of these binding strips, or binding pieces, whatever you want to call them. So on page 3, I printed this onto 110-pound white cardstock. So each album you'll need one of the big one and one of the little one. And that is it. So I'm going to put these 2 in my workbook here. So I have them for another album. Okay, let me finish trimming this out. Okay, so this is the Stack the Deck binding by Laura Dennison. I will link her original video below. This is just 2 pieces of her system, and it's sized to fit the pages of this album. So what we want to do is we now want to go ahead and score. This is an EK Tools scoreboard. We want to score the 2 outer, the inner, there's like on the big piece, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 lines on the inner part of this piece. You just want to score the 2 outside ones. So these 2 closest to the tabs. And so on the smaller piece, you want to go ahead and score both. Whoops, I shifted. You want to score both of those 2 lines. There's only 2 lines on that one, so you want to score both of those. And then we want to go ahead and prep. So I'm going to prep those score marks one way, and then I'm going to flip it over and prep it the other, like that. And flip it and press the other way. Okay, so I haven't cut the little tabs off yet, but it just makes it this step a little bit simpler. I'm going to take my double-sided, this is 1/4 inch double-sided tape. This is scrapbook.com tape. And for the small piece, I'm going to put one on the very edge of the tab. I need to put my glasses on, I can't see. And I'm going to put one in the very center, in between those 2 score marks. Whoa, my ring got stuck. And then I'm going to put one on the very edge of this other tab. This is on the white side. Right? Now, there's 2 different ways you can do the tabs. I should have mentioned that too. You don't have to put score tape on the tabs. You can just use white glue. Maybe I'll do that on this one. So I'll use these. I'll use the score tape or the scrapbook.com tape on the smaller one, and on this one I'll just use glue. So that way I can show you both ways. So then we're going to flip it over this way, and we're going to put a piece of score tape along the edge of this side of the tabs, not on the score mark side, on the outer edge. So we're going to do that on both tabs, like that, for that piece. And then on this big piece, we're going to go on this white side here, we're going to go in between, uh-oh, I've run out of tape, in between the 2 score marks. We're going to fill this area up with tape. Now I need to get another one. So this is what the scrapbook.com tape looks like. I will have it linked below. You get the same amount. It's a little bit cheaper in price than the score tape, but you get the same amount. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit on that space there. And then I'm going to try to squeeze one here in the middle. I should have used like 1/8 of an inch tape there, but you don't have to. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and burnish. So I'm just going to put tape on that one side there. And then I'm going to tab or notch, whatever you want to call it, the ends of the tabs. And in the guidebook, I even put on the tabs. I wrote tab on there on the parts that are considered the tab. Just so there's no confusion since there's so many lines. Like on this piece, these two here are guidelines for the smaller piece to go on top. Is what those are there for. Okay. So I am going to go ahead. I'm going to grab my Distress ink. This is Walnut Stain Distress Oxide, Ranger and Tim Holtz. I am going to ink this outside edge here on this tab, so I'm going to just fold it back on itself here like that, and I'm just going to ink that edge because you will see it. And then the same for this one, fold it back on itself, ink that edge, ink this edge. Okay. So then I'm going to take the smaller one and I'm going to remove the backing off of the center piece here. And I'm going to line it up to the center 2 markings there. Like that. Line that up there and press. And this is a Teflon bone folder. Right? So now I attach that smaller piece on top of the larger piece. So I just use the guidelines on the larger piece to help me line up the smaller piece. So it's just as simple as that. So now we've got 4 tab fin thingies for our pages to go on to. And I'm going to ink the top and bottom edge of that really quick. All right. So then to put it in the album, you just want to center it top to bottom, side to side as best you can. It's not crucial if you're over to the left a little bit or over to the right a little bit or up a little high. It's not going to hurt anything. At least I don't think it does. And then we're just going to, I can't get over top of it. Shoot. So I'm just going to eyeball it and hope that I got it right. Okay, so I've got that on there really good, and then we can just burnish those down, just flip them back and forth, burnish them down, and then you've got your 4 fins for your pages in there. See? Okay. It's just that simple. I don't know if I can't tell if my camera's focusing. There we go. It's just that simple. Okay, so next up we're going to work on the pages. And they're so simple. So what you need is page number 4. And it prints off like this. Right? So this is the Glassine bag. You're going to need 8 of these to make the same album. Okay, so you need 8. So this is printed onto 32-pound printer paper. So it's a little bit nicer quality printer paper, so it makes it a little bit more sturdy. So you're going to need 8 of these. And so if you have the kit, you have all 8 of them in your kit already. There's the difference between what they looked like for Made-A-Con and what they now look like in the kit. So, or I'm sorry, in the printable kit. This is what they look like for Made-A-Con, and then this is what they look like in the template. That's what I meant to say. It's the same thing, it's just tweaked just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do 1 or 2 of these, and then all of them are done the same way. So, Well, except for two. The front cover and the back cover also have a glassine bag on them. And we're going to do that just slightly differently. But they are all prepped the same way. How about that? So you got two choices. You can either do it the way I'm getting ready to show you, or you can trim it out with your scissors. But I will tell you that I'm going to tear mine down because I like the look of the glassine bag. So I'm basically just going to start by making a little notch there, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. Let's see. So the ones that are printed, I'm looking at the ones in the kit. So this is the way they came in the kit, and this is the way they are in the template. So they're a little bit different. But again, if you were printing from the template, then just make a little notch right there, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in just a sec. It's just to help you. So now I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to lay it on here. I'm going to lay it on here right on the edge there of the print. And then, ooh, I just got a paper cut. I'm going to tear that little corner off there. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and turn and tear down that little edge right there. And then I'm going to go and tear all the way down the center here and stop right there at that mark. And then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to tear it up and then down the edge. So you got something that looks like that, and then I'm going to flip this around and then I'm going to tear the bottom just like that. Right, and then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut out the straight lines. It's a little bit of a edge there. Just trimmed that off. You could get your paper trimmer out if you wanted to trim this part, but this is just as easy. And there's a little notch there. Right, so then all you have to do is I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to fold it at the marks. I didn't even score it. I'm just going to fold it where the markings are, where the lines are. So I just folded it at this line and this line. And then I'm going to fold this bottom up just like that. So then the next thing I want to do before I close anything up, I'm going to open it back up. I'm going to get my Distress ink out and I'm just going to ink the torn edge. Flip it over. Ink that torn edge and this torn edge. Just like that. And then all I want you to do is seal the long part up. Leave the bottom flap unglued. So we're just going to run some glue along each edge there. And then seal it up just like that. Right? So you're going to leave this flap, this bottom flap, not glued. So you want to do 6 of them this way. So go ahead and do all 8 the same way. Just leave that bottom flap open, and I'm going to go ahead and do all that. I'm going to do all 8, and then I'll be back. Just real quick, I want to go ahead and show you, if you're printing it from the template and you're not using the Made-A-Con kit, since it's laid out just a little bit different, I just wanted to go ahead and show you. It works the same exact way. You just start by making that notch there so that when you turn here, you won't have any issues getting it to tear. But it is the same, it's the same thing. I just had to change the orientation of it just a little bit. And I'm going to flip it around. and tear that down. Right, so it's the same thing, you just get this little straight edge there. Then you just want to go and trim it out the exact same way. I had the Madecon kits printed professionally, so that's why the coloring looks a little bit different from the Madecon kit to the coloring of my printer. It was really nice being able to let somebody else do the printing for a change. So again, I'm going to fold this on those lines. Fold this one. Because that was a lot of printing. I had 4 different classes and it was a lot of printing. So it makes the same exact thing, right? So I just wanted to show you that if you're printing it from the template, it's the same as what the people got at Madecon. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the rest of mine. So I have 7 more to do and then I'll be right back. Okay, I have all 8 of the Glassine bags put together with the exception of the bottom flap. I did not glue the bottom flap on them. So I'm going to take 4 out now. And these are going to be our main pages, right? So I'm not going to put them in the book just yet. But what I'm going to show you, what we're going to do is I'm going to open them up like this and I'm going to turn that flap, that bottom flap back up on itself the other way, like this, right? And then we're going to take 2 of the remaining 4 envelopes. So then we're going to take 2 of the remaining 4 Glassine bags. They're not sealed at the bottom either, but what we're going to do is I think we are going to seal them. We're going to seal, actually we're going to seal, you know what, let's go ahead and seal, glue shut the remaining 4. So 4 of these you want to leave open like this, and 4 of them you want to glue the bottom closed. I couldn't remember which way I did it. I just got some news, something is going on that's got me a little distracted. So this video might be a little discombobulated, but it'll be all right. Okay, so 2 of these Glassine bags are going to be used in the cover, so I'm going to set those aside for now. So then these 2, the other 2 that are left, so you got your 4 pages, and then we've got these 2. What I want you to do is I want you to take it from the bottom up, right? And I want you to fold it directly in half, matching the top and the bottoms up. There, so you're folding it in half. I'm going to give it a good crease. This is a Teflon bone folder, right? I don't know, can you see that? I just folded it directly in half. So then I'm going to tear it in half, just like that. So now we have these 2 pieces. So I'm going to do the same thing to this. I'm going to fold this one in half. It doesn't have to be exact, but you get my drift. And tear that in half. Okay, so now we got 2 bottoms and we have 2 tops. So for the 2 tops, what I want you to do is take your glue and I want you to seal the opening at the bottom. Just run a really fine line of glue so it seals that bottom up, so it kind of makes it a pocket, right? Well, it does make it a pocket. So those 2 tops, go ahead and seal the bottom, just like that. So before we go any further, I'm going to use my Distress ink on these torn edges here. I don't know why I grabbed this. This is a piece of that dot grid paper. It was sitting close by me a few weeks ago, and I feel like every time I need to ink something like this, I've just been grabbing it and using it instead of getting my non-stick pad sheet thingy out. But anyway, it's probably soaking up more ink than need be, but that's okay. Either way. Okay. So, oh, you know what? Before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and ink. Well, let's go ahead. I'm going to flip these, flip that bottom tab over where you see the white, and I'm going to ink that little bottom edge there. Just because you're going to see that maybe, and we don't want that. So all 4 of the actual pages, we're going to ink those bottom edges while we're inking. We may have to come back and ink some more, but for now, that's all we need to do. Okay, so here's the way the page is going to go into the book, right? So the Glassine bag is going to be this way. So what we're going to do is, we've got that bottom flap flipped back over on itself like this. Then we're going to take one of these pages that we ripped in half, and we're going to glue it down to that bottom flap. So basically what we're doing is we're making this pocket right here, right? We're making that pocket. We're making this pocket, this little short pocket. That's what we're doing, this little extra short flap. So we're going to do every page that way. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to run some glue onto this flap here. If you want to, you can leave the center part without glue, and then that way you can use it as a little tuck spot. So I'm going to lay this on here, just like that. So when you open it up, it looks like that. Can you tell? So there's the way it looks. And when you flip that open, it looks like that. So then if you wanted to, you could slip a tag there if you leave, you know, leave a little tuck open. So there's one. We're going to do the same thing to the remaining 3. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it open just in case. Just in case I want to add something. So I'm going to take another piece that we tore in half. Add that there to the, whoa, to the little flap. Now the thing about these Glassine bags is they are not perfect. They're not meant to be perfect. Actual Glassine bags are not perfect. They're not exact. So it could be a little bit cattywamped, a little wobbly, a little doesn't match up just perfect. So don't get hung up on that. If it folded a little weird or a little crooked or whatever, don't get hung up on that. Whoops, did I let, yeah, I left that one open. All right, so then one more. Almost forgot to leave that open. All right, so just run some glue and then stick that on there like that. Now if there's any white showing anywhere, we'll just take our glue, I mean our, not our glue, we'll just take our ink to it and cover that up, no big deal. And so I'm gonna go ahead and hit the spots that have just a little bit of white showing, if any. Right, so far, so good, right? I think it is easy. Make sure that I didn't glue this shut accidentally. I am going to go ahead and ink this bottom on the back side here. So the way they're going to go in the book, this is going to be the top page, this is going to be the next page, and then this will be the next page, and this is the next page. So I wanted the ones that kind of look like the top of the Glassine bag. I wanted that to be the top page, and then the bottom will be the next, right? And so on and so forth. So that's the order in which they're going to go into the book. All right, so let's start getting these in the book. Now there's not a direction yet because we haven't put anything on anything, so we are good to go. And there's not a direction on these as well. It just depends on which way you want these openings to face. They could be this way or that way. Either way, it does not matter. So remember I told you I was going to leave half of these without tape on them and half with. So if you didn't want to put tape on these tabs, then just use white glue. And I'm going to put it on one side and then the other. And then I'm just going to slide the opening of the glassine bag over top of that tab. Well, I'm going to try to anyway. It's hard to see. So I'm going to slide that over, and then I'm going to lay it flat to make sure it kind of is on there correctly. And we're not going to go too close to that edge there. I'll hold it up so you can see. You don't want to go all the way to the cover, you know, to that score mark there on the spine piece. You don't want it to butt up next to it. You want it to be just slightly, just a hair away from it. So now it's attached to both sides of that tab, right? So there's page 1, and I got it on here a little crooked, but that's okay. This is a very shabby book, so it's not going to hurt anything if things get a little cattywamped. Okay, so then, sorry about that. I'm apologizing because I know I'm gonna keep getting text, so I just have to keep starting and stopping. All right. So then, for the one that has the tape on it, if you wanted to use tape, what I like to do is actually I like to take just one side of the tape off of the tab, just one side, and then slide this down on over that tab like that. And then make sure that it's mostly even with the other page. And then I like to smoosh it down and then open it back up. Get under here on the other side of that tab and pull that tape off. So there's 2 pages in. Well, actually 4 if you want to count these little add-on pages. So right, so there's 4 pages, and you see how you can see the binding strip in there. That's why I wanted it to match the glassine bag. I wanted it to be the same because you can see it, so it just kind of makes it a little easier. So once again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make sure I'm facing the right way. I'm going to take one side of that tape off, and then I'm going to slide that down over top of there and gently press, flip it back the other way, remove that tape backing, some people find this easy to do and some people find it harder to do, so if it's just easier for you to use the glue, then just use the glue. Well, I'm going to flip it back this way. I mean, you can do one side at a time of the glue if you want to. Just the same way I did the tape, you know, where you just open it up and add some glue in there. Alright, so I'm just going to slide this over. The nice thing about the glue is you do have a minute of wiggle. Not a whole lot, especially with this kind of glue, but you do have a little bit of wiggle room. Now see, I got that one on super crooked. Let's see if I can't fix that. And I did. I think I did a pretty good job. But you see how, well, you might not be able to tell. They're kind of slightly sticking out past the cover just a little bit. It's really hard for you to see. But if you don't like that, just make your covers just a little bit bigger, a little bit longer. But I happen to like the shabby look. So, alright, so now all 4 of our pages are in. See, super, super simple. So for the covers, you could, if you wanted to, you could cover the entire thing with the glassine bag, just like that. But with my prototype, that the Santa Baby album that we made, we actually made a double pocket out of the bag, and then there's a pocket behind the bag. So that's what we're going to do. Except, well, let's see. Maybe we should mat the inside. Or we can just prep it, and then we can put it all together when we start matting the cover. How about that? Let's do that. So really, so you got 2 left. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna take it and just kind of guesstimate how much you want to fold it up. So what did I fold mine up? I folded mine up about 2 inches. Well, that was pretty cool. Almost never get that right. Alright, and then I'm going to fold this one up the same way. See if I can match it up. Probably not. It's not going to matter because one's on the front cover and one's on the back. And I think I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take my glue and I'm just going to put just a little bit of dot of glue on either side of this pocket just to kind of keep it tacked closed. You don't really need to glue it. I'm going to have to hold that because we're going to be wrapping some like seam binding and stuff around. So I'm just going to hold these for a second. Okay. So the way it's going to go is there's going to be one here on this cover, and then there's going to be one there on that cover. So we're going to have to mat and everything before we can attach them down, but that's where those 2 glassine bags are going to go. Okay, so I think that's where we're going to stop, and then the next video we'll start matting. I guess we'll mat the covers. We'll just start there. Maybe we'll do the, oh, I'm wondering. Yeah, maybe we'll go ahead and do the covers in the next video, like the front and back. We'll see. We'll see how far we get and go from there. So, all right, guys, let me know what you think. So there's 2 different ways to do the cover with 2 different products. So we've got chipboard and we've got corrugated cardboard, and then we put in our pages already. So let me know what you guys think, and be sure to give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Go ahead and hit this little button here if you have not subscribed to my channel already, and be sure to hit the bell notification so you get notified every time I upload a video. And then here's a link to my Etsy shop if you're interested in these templates, and there should be some other videos up here in the top corners that you might be interested in. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.